Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. In this little section, or today's session on taking care of business, I wanted to talk to you about the Entrepreneurs Business School Entrepreneurial Profiling Tool. So we now have it branded into EBS, which is awesome. So when you get them now, it will have a very different feel and look to the one that you may have done before, which was for IPS Institute's tool. It's the same tool, but it's just got a different focus. IPS tool is based on and focused on individuals and teams, and the EBS tool is focused on entrepreneurs and their teams. So that's the difference, all right? It's only a slight difference. You can use either tool, it's not a problem. You're still going to be the same profile. That won't change. The questions are identical. Okay, so if you have done the old tool, you don't have to rush in and do the new tool. If you haven't done any of the tools, then I strongly encourage you to do that and do your profiling tool. I'm going to leave a link to the new one in the comments below after when this is posted in the group, so that you can double check who you are. And why is it so important as entrepreneurs to know who we are, to understand our natural talents and strengths? In traditional Human Resource Management 101, they tell us that we need to be good at everything. And that's not how we're built. It's just not how we're built. And if you want everyone to be good at everything, you're going to create mediocrity. Mediocrity in your business, mediocrity in your team, mediocrity in your life. So what we want to do is create geniuses and have everyone operating in their genius zones. Which means, and I've always seen this, whenever people are working with their natural talents and strengths, they are always in alignment with their passion, without exception. Without exception. So when people are in alignment with their passion, if they're a team member turning up for work, they're going to be way more engaged. They're going to be way more productive. They're going to enjoy coming to work. And so you'll see a decrease in absenteeism. You'll see an increase in productivity. And the whole morale of the entire office is completely positive. It's wonderful. It's a joy to behold. So that's as far as the business is concerned. As far as the business owner is concerned, when you are working with predominantly your natural talents and strengths, you are in total alignment with your being. You are also loving what you do and doing what you love. It's not a chore. Procrastination is gone. And here's a tip. Wherever you procrastinate, you're out of alignment. You shouldn't be doing it. If you procrastinate, you should be delegating or outsourcing it. That's a really big clue. Okay. I love this tool because this tool really clearly identifies what your natural talents and strengths are. And not only does it identify what they are, it allocates a percentage to it. So out of 100%, it will let you know what your percentage is of the 4 different trait areas that we measure. Okay? And that's brilliant, because when you know that about yourself, you understand exactly why you struggle with some things and breeze through other things. You understand why while your team struggles with some things and breezes through other things. We want everyone to be breezing through, okay? Alignment, another word for alignment is flow, to be in flow. And over the 20 plus years of being in business, as a business consultant, as a trainer, as I've done so many things, a course developer, over all of that time, and working with other organizations and implementing these philosophies with them, there's only one thing that is holding a business back, and that's the business is either in flow or out of flow. If the business is in flow, it's not stuck. It is on track. It is easy. There are not a lot of obstacles in the way. There's not a lot of fires to put out. All right. So if your business is showing any of those things, if you've got lots of fires to put out, and you are stuck at a certain level and you can't get past that level, well, there's something going on in your business and you're out of flow in it. And if you understand, as you do once you start this journey with the stuff that I share in the roadmap to Millions Bootcamp, right? Once you identify that, you can, and understand that, you can easily identify what may be going wrong in your business. Like it sticks out like a sore toe, and you know exactly what to focus on because you've got the glasses to see your business through 4 different perspectives. And that's what I do to people. I give them those glasses so they can see every perspective of what goes on in the business rather than coming from one perspective, which is our profile. Okay, so it makes it really simple to understand where the processes are getting stuck, or where the people are getting stuck, or where strategies are getting stuck, or where implementation is letting you down. You know, it's not getting things done. You're not moving forward. You're not moving the needle. So the first step is to do the profile and understand yourself and understand your team. And once you do that and you practice that, then you can identify the traits of people you're selling to. And how cool is that? If you understand who you're selling to, you'll understand how to sell to them. And there's 4 different ways to sell. There's not one size fits all. All right. So for example, the people who've got very high strategic trait in them, they just want to know the shorthand version because they're going to make a decision very, very quickly. They're not going to linger on making a decision. They only want to know what's the result so that I can make the decision and go forward. When you go around to the communicative people, they're going to want to know how your transformation or your product or your service is going to help their team, is going to be people focused. So how is this solution going to be people focused? And they need a little bit more detail, but not much more detail than the strategics. So again, they'll make a decision very quickly. They'll just want to know what they want to know and what that transformation will be that they'll get. They'll make a decision and move on. And then we'll come down to the implementational people, and they will want to have more detail to make a decision. So they will require additional information. And you have to give that to them because they're going to need that information to make a decision. And then all the way around to the logical people, they're going to need all the information and they're going to need time to do their own research before they make a decision. So asking them for a decision on the day usually won't happen. And if they're not comfortable, they will say no. It'll be a definite no. So when you understand at least what trait they are, the people that you're selling to, however you're selling, doesn't matter how you're selling, then you've got a much better chance of them saying yes. And you can make all your marketing material based around those 4 traits. You can make your sales process based on those 4 traits. And you'll see a completely, different result in your conversion rates. They'll definitely go up. Definitely go up. Because you're actually giving what those individuals need in order to make a decision. And that's often overlooked. And we sell to them how we want to be sold to. That's our fallback position. Because we only have that perspective. We only have the perspective of our own profile. And we think everyone else is the same. And they're not. So when you do that, by using the tool that way, it's a game changer on its own. The other thing that it's wonderful to do, especially for coaches, and I know there's a lot of coaches in here, if you give someone a profile, and we go through how you do a debrief in our programs, but if you give someone the profile before you do the strategy call with them, for example, you will know exactly who you're dealing with. You will know exactly how they need to be coached. You will understand all of that before you even begin. And you'll have a conversation with them all about themselves and what their profile revealed. And the trust that you create in that, and normally takes about 30 to 45 minutes to go through it, the trust that you create in that will be instant. Instant. You'll have instant trust because they will feel that you really know who they are and where they're coming from, and therefore how you need to coach them. So it's awesome to open the coaching conversation. It's an awesome tool to do that. So that's another way you can use it. Another way that's really important is with your suppliers. Suppliers and contractors, because you need to know that you're going to get a good outcome from engaging with XYZ people in your business. And you want to know that it's going to be a smooth journey. You want to know that you're going to get the results that you thought you paid for. So when you profile them, you will understand, are they in flow with, is their business in flow or in alignment with who they are? Now, if their business is in alignment with who they are, great. You shouldn't have any issues. It should flow nicely. You should get the result that they said you should get. And your experience with them will be very pleasant. If they're out of alignment with who they are, or their business is out of alignment with who they are, and this often happens when we buy a business. This doesn't happen so much when we build a business, all right? Usually if you build a business, it's in alignment with who you are. But if you buy a business, established business, it's often out of alignment. And so your suppliers and contractors who are out of alignment with their business, it's going to be a rough road because it's not their natural way of being. It's not their natural talent to be able to do that for you. They're relying on others, and the others may be good, might not be good, and your results may be, stagnated. It might not even happen, and it could be fraught with issues and problems. So that's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money, if you just make sure your suppliers and your contractors are in alignment with their profile and their business. Okay? When you're recruiting people, you can't, in the United States, I know they have a law, or they did have a law last time I was there, where you can't base a recruitment decision on a profile. So just be aware of that, okay? But you can make it part of the recruitment process. Absolutely no reason you can't do that. And you can absolutely use it for onboarding as well. But if you are advertising a position in your business, you can make sure the advertisement uses all the language that the different traits want to hear and will attract them into your business. It's an awesome tool because it does a first cut of the people who are even going to apply. Because if it's all based on the logical trait, for example, which would be systems and processes and, everything dots I's and crosses T's and absolute fine detail, etc., then people like myself who are very strategic wouldn't even read past the first paragraph and therefore wouldn't apply. But the people who love the data and who love the crossing of the I's and the dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's, I always get that wrong, they will be attracted to that position. So you'll only get that trait applying anyway, and then you'll see exactly what their percentages are, and you'll understand if they're going to be a good fit for what you have in mind for them to do, predominantly. But another thing that we teach with all of this, and this is why it's so powerful as well, is we implement project-based teams. So we don't have job descriptions anyway. We just have projects. And every team member is doing X number of tasks on each project, but only in their natural talent and strength areas, only in their genius zones. So they might do 3 tasks on project A, 2 tasks on project B, 5 tasks on project C. Okay, so everyone is then doing what they love, loving what they do the majority of the time. Now, we know it's not always possible to be doing that, especially when we're growing our team and our team is small. Okay, it's not always possible. But then you can step into your supporting profiles, because everyone has a supporting profile, 2 of them, which is one to the left and one to the right. So as an innovator, I can step into promoter and I can step into enhancer. And as long as I'm not doing that full time, that's fine. It won't de-energize me. If 20% of my time was spent on either one of those, I can do that. And we have a formula, the 1, 2, 3 formula, that shows you how to make sure you can have 3 recruits, including yourself, so 2 extra recruits apart from you, all right, or outsourced, delegated, contracted people on board on your team, and you can cover all 8 profiles just from engaging 2 extra people plus yourself. Okay, I might do a thing on that in another one of these sessions. But there's a formula for that. So 3 equals 8, which is wonderful. And so you can get a balanced team very, very quickly, so that you have the perspective of all the different traits and all the different profiles in your business very simply. And then you can grow from there. So you can use it for that as well. You can use it, as I said, for recruitment, but just be careful if you're in the United States, because there's laws around it. You can look at your business and decide where you need to focus your time and your projects on, because it will depend what stage of business you're at, and therefore determine where you should be focusing your time to move the needle to get to the next cycle of business. Very, very important. You know, and if we're talking about strategic, we're talking about plans, we're talking about business plan, marketing plan, sales plans, all the planning things happen under that. If we're talking about communicative, then we're talking about marketing, sales, branding, networking. All of those things happen in communicative. If we're talking about implementation, then we're talking about customer service, we're talking about administration, we're talking about taking the strategic plans and breaking them down into small bite-sized pieces and putting them into projects so that we start to work out when we've got to do what, okay? And then we've already sorted out who with. And then if we're talking about logical, then in the business we're talking about the systems and processes that we have, and how we're going to use them, how we're going to utilise them, how we're going to set KPIs to achieve all of that. We're going to measure everything to make sure we're profitable. All of those things happen in that part of the business. But it all starts from strategy. It all starts from the strategic. And you need to move around the square, the EBS square, in order to make sure that you've got everything in your business in the right order, so that you have covered all of the gaps. And you probably, if you've been in business for a couple of years, you'll definitely have gaps, and you can just fill them in. It's not a big deal. It's not a big problem. But if you fill them in, you're going to see an increase in either revenue or profit. Okay. So I would love you to do your profile if you haven't already done it. I encourage you to do your profile, because it's the first step on our journey for everything. And when you understand exactly who you are, it helps in your relationships too, believe it or not. If you've got a partner, it's wonderful to profile them, because you'll understand why they do what they do. And this is all about allowing people to be who they really are. And that is so freeing for everybody. And it gives us an awareness of everyone and how they show up. And understand that we're not all the same, and that we have opposites. And then we can look at their actions, we can look at their behaviours, and we can understand why they behave that way. And that takes away a lot of conflict not only in the business, but in the family home too. All right. Just simply by understanding how people show up and how they do things and why they do things. It's a game changer. And it's a game changer in your business as well. And if you understand that about your clients and you understand that about your suppliers and you understand that about your team, then you're going to have a very different business to the business that you have today. So I encourage you to go to the link below, which will be in the comments below. Do your profile. Get your team to do the profile as well. You know, any businesses you work with, get them to do the profile. Get the owners of it to do the profile. Send it to anyone you like. I don't care. It's a free tool. Doesn't cost anything. Yes, you do go on to an email list. It is a lead generation tool for my business. But we all need to have those. And if you don't want to receive the information, you can always opt out. Okay, you can just unsubscribe. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to really get to know who you are. And you'll have an idea. We all have an idea of who we are, but you will never have seen it the way this shows you. It's in your face. It's undeniable how each of these traits show up in your makeup. And it is so crucial to running a business because you want to run a business as that profile. And we also have a whole wealth creation strategy for each of the 8 profiles in our program. And that's where the rubber hits the road because each profile builds wealth a very different way to each other. And that's gold. That's a gold nugget on its own. So do that. If you'd like to know anything about the Roadmap to Millions bootcamp, please send me a message and I'll get some information to you, or we can get on a call and have a chat about it. Have a chat about your business, where your business is at, and where I think these tools and our programs could help you potentially. And if you're not ready for them, I'll let you know you're not ready for them yet. We also have a business health checklist that lets you know where your business is at and what you've still got to put in place in your business to get to the next level and the next level and the next level. Okay. This is all about start up, scale up, and stepping out. And I've stepped out of one of my businesses and I'm starting up this business. So I've got my foot in 2 different camps at the moment. But once you've started one, scaled up and followed this process, it's so easy to start another business. And I love businesses. So that's what I love to do. I love to start new businesses. I thrive on that. I like to be involved in investing in other businesses. And I like to work with their senior management teams. And I've done that in the US. I've done that in Silicon Valley. I've worked with teams in the USA as well, at the University of Nebraska. I work with their professional development unit where they recruited 300 curriculum designers, and I made sure they would be hitting the ground running on day one when they were onboarded. We already had them in teams beforehand based on their profile. It was an amazing program, and I saved them $6 million in wages because instead of waiting 12 weeks to sort it all out organically, we knew exactly what to do before they even got there. So I've got a lot of expertise and experience that you can tap into. Don't waste it. You're here to tap into my expertise, and I really want you to encourage you to do that because this is my way of giving back. You know, it took me a while to understand these principles and put them in place and get them to work and get them to be really easy. And it took me a lot of money and a lot of professional development. I've already done that. I've already done the hard yards. So that's what we need to do. Find a mentor who can take us on that journey, who's already been there, who's made the mistakes, who can give us some tips. And I hope that's me for you. Make sure they're way ahead of the journey that you're currently on. You know, not just one step ahead. There's a lot of coaches and consultants out there at the moment who are learning a program and then teaching it. And I can tell you, they're not providing value because unless you really walk the walk and talk the talk, you don't know what you're telling people. It's a very superficial level. I can go very in-depth and you can ask me any sorts of questions and I guarantee I'll be able to answer them or point you in the direction of where to get the answer. Okay? So take advantage of being here. I'm here. Interact. Ask questions in the comments. I'll get back to them. Okay? I really want to interact with you. Utilize my knowledge and my experience as much as you possibly can. And do that in the other groups that you're in as well. Okay? All right. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you again next week. And again, if you haven't already done your profile, the link will be in the comments below. Please do it. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye.